during the first quarter of my college, December 7th came around, and we got into World War II, and from that point, I think for a lot of us, scholastic endeavors kind of took a back seat to our everybody wanting to get into the service, get into some branch of the service. I stayed in college through December of 1942, and when I came home from college then, I ended up getting my draft notice at that point, and had to go into the Army. I really wanted to go in the Navy, but didn't make it. With the background I had in college and in my association with my father's veterinary practice, they put me in the medical department. The really challenging times are in combat, when you're receiving casualties, trying to help people who are wounded and so forth. I went through the Second Battle of Bougainville, and that was my only real exposure to combat conditions. The first 2 weeks of this battle, we treated maybe as many as 60 patients. These were all severely wounded people. Some came to us in extremis. You look at them, you knew there was no way they could survive their injuries. Our overall casualty rate, death rate, was 5%. And like I say, some of those were in extremis when they reached us. Others some died after they left our hands. We didn't hold patients. We treated them. We evacuated them to the rear just as fast as we possibly could. The only antibacterial medication we had when I went in the service in '43 were the sulfa drugs, and they were not actually bactericidal. They just interfered with the multiplication of germs in the body. So that was the only thing we had to directly treat an infection with at that time. Some infections were susceptible to it, some were not. Otherwise, things just ran their course. You were left with palliative treatment.